Today we're going to talk all about alcohol and GLP-1 medications. But first, let me finish my drink. Just kidding, guys. This is an NA beer. It's 10 a.m. Come on. So can you still enjoy a drink while on a GLP-1 medication like Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, Zepbound? Let's talk about it. I'm Anna, GLP-1 user, registered dietitian, and let's talk about all of the basics about alcohol and GLP-1. This is like a fascinating topic. If you do drink, or even if you don't drink, you're going to want to understand because it's very, very interesting. So is alcohol off limits while on a GLP-1? Generally, no. There isn't like a contraindication like some medications, like you absolutely cannot drink while on this medication, but there are a lot of caveats that you are going to want to consider. If you want to have a drink and it's okay by your doctor and it doesn't interfere with other medications, then yes, you can drink alcohol on a GLP-1. But let's talk about some reasons why you may not want to or why it may not be the best choice for you on your GLP-1 journey. So first is an increased risk of side effects. GLP-1 medication slows your digestive system, increasing your risk of stomach upset and nausea. And if you've ever had too much to drink, you know that the symptoms are kind of the same: stomach upset and nausea. So it can make you feel a lot worse if you're already struggling with side effects. Also, there is a risk for low blood sugar, especially if you have diabetes. GLP-1 already lowers your blood sugar, alcohol lowers your blood sugar, and that can just get a lot worse. Also, people report that alcohol consumption while on a GLP-1 really feels a lot stronger than before, because the GLP-1 slows down their digestion, so the alcohol stays in your system for longer, and that can mean longer lasting effects, even at the normal amount of alcohol consumption. So you may feel a lot more intoxicated, or your hangover could be a lot stronger. So that's another effect that alcohol could have on the medication. And the interesting thing is that while there could be these like effects, increased side effects, stronger intoxication, potential for low blood sugar, a lot of people on GLP-1s report not having alcohol cravings anymore. And this could be a possible unintended benefit of the medication. I have shared my experience before. I do still drink alcohol on a GLP-1 only on the weekends. I don't drink during the week because I like to go to gym and do the things, and I realize that interferes. I have personally not noticed a change in my desire for alcohol at all, but that's just me. Other people have. And granted, I'm on the lowest dose of GLP-1, so that could be why I haven't really experienced that. But a randomized control trial found that people with alcohol use disorder who used semaglutide reduced their intake by about 41% over 9 weeks. Animal studies have shown that GLP-1 reduces the dopamine release that you feel when you drink alcohol, so it makes it like not as rewarding to drink anymore. And then there was a systematic review that being on a GLP-1 generally reduced alcohol-related behaviors in animals and humans, and that people on a GLP-1 were less likely to go to the hospital for alcohol-related disorders. So there's definitely something going on here with the GLP-1 and your craving, likely related to like the changes in the brain pathways and rewards and that kind of stuff for drinking alcohol. So if you don't want to drink anymore, there's really no reason to try to force yourself to do that. So it could be also like the slow gastric emptying that kind of prevents you from being able to even drink more because you feel like so full already, especially like with a beer or something like that, you already feel really full. And then just overall reduction in reward systems in your brain. So I'm curious, you want to tell me in the comments, have you found this on GLP-1? Have you found that your desire to drink alcohol has decreased? Like I said, I have not found that, but I'm not really that big of a drinker. So I don't know. Maybe if I drank more, I would drink less. I don't know. Anyway, but let's talk about the other thing about alcohol on a GLP-1. Most people on a GLP-1 are doing it to improve their health, possibly lose weight, that kind of stuff. So they are, wanting to reach those goals, really focus on a calorie deficit, getting the right nutrition in. And to be honest, alcohol is really just empty calories. Alcohol has 7 calories per gram, which is almost as much as fat. So fat has 9, carbs and proteins have 4, and alcohol has 7. It has no vitamins or minerals. Red wine might have a little bit of antioxidants, but nothing that you couldn't get from fruits and vegetables or somewhere else. So it just really has a lot of calories, and it doesn't really make you feel full or satisfied, and just takes up extra calories. And those calories can add up because, let's be honest, sometimes it's easy to drink 2, maybe 3 drinks, maybe more. I don't know how much you might be drinking. And then, you end up drinking quite a few more calories than you intended. Also, alcohol can increase inflammation, which makes you hold on to water and weight, disrupts your gut health, so your gut is not optimized correctly to help you lose weight, and interfere with your hormones. So all of that can impact your weight loss. It's also been linked to a variety of chronic diseases, liver disease most obviously, but also cardiovascular disease, cancer, all sorts of things. So if you're taking a medication to get healthier and you're putting alcohol into your body that causes disease, it's kind of like a wash, I think. Up to you. Alcohol can also disrupt your sleep. So it helps you fall asleep faster, but then it disrupts your REM cycles later in the night. And when you don't sleep, that increases your cravings, impacts your appetite regulating hormones, so you don't have quite as much willpower. And then if you've ever seen the line at Del Taco drive-thru at 2 a.m., you know that alcohol can impact your food choices in a negative way. So want to consider that too. And then alcohol also interferes with how your body absorbs vitamins and minerals, particularly certain B vitamins and magnesium, which play a role in how well your metabolism works. So that can, in turn, slow your metabolism and reduce your weight loss. So I strongly encourage you to check out the podcast that Andrew Huberman did called What Does Alcohol Does to Your Body, Brain, and Health? And that's on the Huberman Lab podcast. And it looks like this. I'll link it in the show notes too. But there really are not a lot of health-related upsides to alcohol, whether you're on a GLP-1 or not. I think it's really cool now that there are a lot of non-alcoholic options. So obviously there have always been the NA beers, but they're getting better and better, I think, in my opinion. Like this one is actually pretty good. This is a dry IPA. I'm not usually drinking beer at 10 a.m., but I don't like IPA, and this one tastes good. There are also a lot of sort of alternative drinks, so drinks that have things like CBD in them that could be an option. Just want to be aware that some of the mocktails and things like that, although they can be fun, a lot of them, at least some that I have tried at restaurants and things, are really just a cup of juice with some things in them. So you're not really saving on calories there. But there are a lot more options, and I'm seeing that expand as people become more interested in avoiding alcohol. Even here in Nashville, there is an NA bar opening that will only be serving non-alcoholic drinks. So there's definitely an interest in sort of a dry lifestyle, and more options are available. So if you want to feel like you're participating in the social scene but don't want to necessarily drink, you can look around for some of those options. So here's the bottom line with alcohol and GLP-1. It really is going to depend on you, your personal preference, and your goals. If you are struggling to lose weight or you're in a plateau and you're still drinking, I would really encourage you to not do that. If you just started a GLP-1, I would also encourage you to really take it slow, because you might not be able to tolerate nearly as much alcohol as maybe you could before. And also as you lose weight, right? A heavier person could probably tolerate more alcohol than a lighter person. So it's just something to, consider as you think about your relationship with alcohol on a GLP-1. So I'm curious if you have decided that alcohol is part of your GLP-1 journey or not. Let me know in the comments, and let me know what other questions you might have about alcohol and GLP-1. And finally, make sure to check out our GLP-1 Hub store, where we talk about nutrition and have several recipe collections, meal plans, things like that to support you on your GLP-1 journey. And finally, make sure to like and subscribe to this channel, because I post a video every Friday to help you along your GLP-1 journey. And I'll see you next week.